I'm going to show how I rank in Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini by building out an AEO strategy that leverages Claude Code, Claude skills, Claude routines, and is so simple and easy, you're probably already doing this. So I want to open your eyes to what's possible so that you can be building out this strategy on autopilot and get organic traffic to your website directly from the LLMs. And I'm starting here at the end because you're going to see here in the last 7 days, I've had 14,000 requests to my website. So if we click Google right here, you can see that it has referred 432 times to blog post is podcast studio setup. So how in the world did I create this? Because these are the receipts. And what I ended up doing is put all of this into a blog post here, transcript to blog post publish on autopilot. And essentially all of this is designed around two routines that I created in Claude Code. The first is called the content creation engine, which is the one that takes a transcript and then turns it into a blog post. And what's important about all of this is it leverages EEAT, which is what Google and a lot of the LLMs are looking for. It's that experience, that authority, that real-time trust, because anybody can create a blog post that says, hey, 5 tips for social media marketing, but very few people actually have the receipts of doing this in their business and in their life. And because I live this every single day as a coach and as an entrepreneur, I'm having multiple conversations a day where I am giving the gold to my clients in terms of this is how we grow your business using AI, the ways that you think, the ways that you build, the tools, the everything in between there. So why reinvent the wheel when you're already speaking the gold and you can design this in a way that the LLMs love? And then number 2, I've got a second routine called blog post auto publisher, which takes the AEO-optimized blog post and automatically publishes it using Claude Code. And I'll make this simple and easy. And this took me several months to build step by step. And the big unlocks in all of this was around leveraging skills in Claude. The tools that I'm using for this are Claude. I'm on the Max plan, Notion, and Claude Code, and Claude routines. And it's actually very simple once you get it up and running, because you'll see over here on my blog, I'm publishing. So yesterday I published 3 blog posts, and you click one of them, and it is fully optimized for AEO from here's the TLDR, and there's the how are these questions being distributed or actually tagged in your blog posts, to automatically internal linking this stuff, to having a CTA at the bottom so that there's somewhere for people to go when this is all done right there. So 3 yesterday, you'll see on the 29th, we had 2. On the 26th, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And here's the thing. This is not a spray and pray approach. This is actually the opposite. It is very intentional. So here's the layers to what I've done. So I am using Fathom as where I'm getting my transcripts. So I go from Fathom, and then I go into Claude, and I've got a separate transcripts and signals project right here. And I just say, let's pull the call-in transcript from today in Fathom and put it into the transcript inbox in Notion in King Rob's world. So that takes me to right here. And you will see, boom, here is the transcript from the call that I had with Colin. So now we've got the raw material right there. All I had to do was use the MCP connection, boom, shakalaka, puts that right in there. And then from there, we've got all the raw materials. So I spent a couple weeks doing some AEO research. So what I did is I created 2 databases. One of them is, hey, what are some of the terms or phrases that people are searching for relating to what I do in the world of AI and coaching and entrepreneurship. So I've got all of this just listed right here, designed with Claude in terms of priority, status, key phrase, competition, content clusters. I also created another one using Manus called the AEO key phrase Spiderweb. And what this does, and there we go, get it over here, is I thought if somebody is speaking into an LLM, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, what would they actually be asking for? So I actually just spoke that into Claude and we started to build out a spider web of what they might actually look for, right? So I've got all of this research designed inside of this here, and I spend no time on all of this. Why? Because all of this is just back-end data for Claude to use. So from this, we then have all the data for the LLM or Claude to say, hey, based on this transcript right here, let's search the AEO databases and find the key phrases that are talked about in here that we want to then rank for there. So what I then did is created some Claude skills. So we'll go over here to customize skills. And one of them is called the content creation engine, if I can even find my own skills here. Content. Daily content engine, right? So this is something where it'll take the transcript and then it'll turn it into the AEO-optimized blog post. And then I've got another one in here called the blog post publisher. And this is a skill that will take the blog post and automatically publish it using Claude Code. So now let's pop this bad boy over to Claude Code. And here is the big unlock for me is once I started to use Claude Code routines. So with these routines, I created two of them. The first one called the content creation engine. And what this will do is take the skills that I've already built and put them into one to make this significantly easier to have it stack up and do this. So for example, if we look in the instructions here, of which of course Claude helped me build, phase 1, transcripts. All right, take the transcript to blog post skill. Phase 2, take the intelligence vault to blog post skill. And then it goes and it takes that and it goes through the process that I showed you there. Then one of the things that a lot of people run into when you're taking a transcript and then you're turning it into a piece of content is it doesn't nail the voice or the tone or the energy that you want. And I was aware of that, so I created a new skill called a polish guide. So it'll take the transcript, it'll do the AEO, keyword search, and then it'll build a post from there. And it's like, cool, here's our raw post. Before we then publish it, it runs another skill that says, hey, let's make sure this is in Rob's energy, language, and vibe. Even though this is already built in, we're going to do a second pass here because we need this like we are writing this for my clients and we are paying this thing forward. So that's what that thing runs. And if I search here, polish, you'll see right here and there, it runs the guide polish skill. So what this will end up doing is dropping all of this into my content library in Notion, AKA my second brain. And what you'll see here is it'll create a status of ready to publish. So we've got a long form video right here. And it opens it up, and here is the actual blog post itself inside of this. Let me expand this here so you can see. So this is the blog post right here. And I've got all of that there, but I don't want to spend time proofreading this thing because I want to do that on the front end there. And I want this thing to publish without me because, as you'll see here, I've got a lot of content opportunities and a lot of conversations that I've got. A lot of these are in draft. And for many of us, we become our own roadblock Yes, you can take a transcript and turn it into a blog post, but then you're spending time reading and reviewing and publishing to Claude Code, and that's a bunch of $10 an hour tasks. But ultimately, I'm doing this in the name of AEO optimization, so I'm appearing in the LLMs for the things that I want to rank for. So it drops it into this content library right here, and then I created a second routine called Blog Auto Publisher here. And it takes that blog post publisher skill that I created and essentially creates the code for Claude Code. Nice and simple. And all of this is running locally on my computer. So the content creation searches the transcripts every day at 6 p.m. And then the blog post publisher is every day at 10 p.m. And it goes and does this. And you'll see here, I'm very meticulous about this. I have very hard safety rules about this. And so often, if you're going to look at content repurposing with AI, you're going to hear a lot about AI slop and the people who aren't doing a very good job of this. This took me months to build to get this autonomous to run without me. And the key of all of this is your standards of excellence. So for me, I've got a very high bar because I'm best in class in what I do in the world of coaching and creating and AI and entrepreneurship. So my systems and structure need to match that there. So you can see how methodical this is because we are in the ultimate show me your receipts era. Plenty of people can go and create 1 million blog posts and be like, look at all that I'm doing. No. I want to do it from the authority of what I'm already having conversations with every single day, and then use that as the raw material to then rank into the LLMs. And to show you sort of, once it goes through this, we've got several steps that this thing runs. So for example, I set a cap so that at no point can it publish more than 7 blog posts in a day. I also have several checkpoints along the way, right? So it updates Notion and it gives me the receipt in a morning briefing. So it'll tell me, hey, Rob, this is what's published every single day. So there's also a failure protocol here. Hey, if this thing breaks, here's what happens and how we know that this works. So to show that this is actually real, take a look at this. So in the last 30 days, right now, I'm organically getting 3,700 views to my website. And right now, the number one is Claude Code Auto Mode for VS Code. And where is that thing coming from? Well, if we go over here, I can track this down. Let's see here. It is coming from Gemini. How do I know? Because this is giving 678 allowed requests. So you come down here. Wow, and let me see if I can move this over here so you can see the number. There we go. 432, from this blog post right here. So you can see referral traffic. Claude Code Auto Mode VS Code. It is referring 1,300 people a month on this blog post. 432 a month this. 34 people a month are coming to my website directly from Gemini. So you're seeing, look at all this referral traffic for me. So I'm getting, whatever this says, 2,000 referrals a month from this. So we'll go back to the AI crawl control, and I'm doing this inside of Cloudflare, and you can just see the various things. OpenAI, I'm getting 18 referrals. Anthropic 5, Microsoft 9. And the key of AEO is the meter keeps on running, right? So it doesn't mean you're going to rank right away. But that's why every single day I'm taking the transcripts and turning them into blog posts because it does answer the questions that people are looking for. So this is the opposite of AI slop. So when I look at my blog posts here, we've got how to build a second brain with AI, how to get better output from Claude or ChatGPT, how to budget for AI without getting burned, how to use AI to run a one-person business. How to build a daily AI practice as an entrepreneur. Stop using Claude like ChatGPT. What should a CEO know about AI in 2026? How to repurpose podcast content, right? So it's like real specific stuff that people are searching for there. How to stop using so many AI tools. I know so many people are overwhelmed by all of this, right? How to use Notion as your AI operating system for your business. So these are all specific keywords designed for how this would show up inside of an LLM, and this all comes back to what I'm doing. And best of all, this is based on a transcript of things that I was already talking about with either prospective clients or current clients or peers. So the big unlock becomes there is gold hiding inside your conversations. You just get to build a system that extracts the gold and turns it into blog posts that then appear as part of your AEO strategy for Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, and everything in between. And my background for this originally was building my business for SEO for more than 15 years on WordPress. But then once Claude and Claude Code came out, I killed WordPress, rebuilt my website, and what I ended up doing for my clients, and I do this inside the Undeniable Studio. If you're someone who wants to operate like the top 1% with AI, go to robcressy.com/undeniable. I give this to all my clients. So what I've done here is essentially reverse engineered the entire thing. Hey, copy this prompt, fill in your answers, give this to Claude Code. Here's the skills that I'm using for this, the content creation engine, the blog post publisher. Set up the 2 scheduled Claude Code routines. You're going to run it by hand a few times before you do it. And then I just give everybody the copy and paste of exactly what to do here. So you can see here, here's how you create the content creation engine. So this is what appeared inside of Claude Code in the routine. And then here's the blog post publisher skill that is inside of Claude Code. And then here's how you build the routines. Copy this, copy this. Here's your non-negotiables inside of this. 1 transcript, 1 blog post live. So I wanted to share this because this is what I've been running. It's taken me a few months to build out this process. It is simple. It is systematic. It is by design. It is intentional. It is using the highest quality filters, a transcript of things that I'm already talking about, because then inside the blog post, it says, hey, I was having a conversation with a peer today and we were talking about, for example, how to content repurpose using AI. So I showed him my transcript of blog post publishing process using Claude Code and Claude routines. And it's like, oh, awesome, Rob. You just spoke it into existence, because naturally I would just have that conversation and then manually turn it into a blog post anyways. But we have changed the way that we create in the AI era, because welcome to the voice era. So now you can speak your posts on transcripts, and you can just do it naturally, or you can do it on calls that you're already doing and use that as the raw material to turn into the canvas that ultimately drives more traffic back to your website. From there, you have lead magnets, offers, and everything in between. And this is something drip, drip, drip. How would you like 3,000 visitors a month to come to your website organically from LLMs? And once again, you'll see from my own receipts in this of the number of various blog posts. You got 1,000 here, 500 here, 300 here, 378 here, 66 here. Drip, 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 drip. And this is what authority looks like. So if this is something that vibes with you, drop me a comment below, slide into my DMs on Instagram or LinkedIn at Rob Cressy. This is how the best in the world are creating every single day with AI. Once this process is set up, it becomes set it and forget it into perpetuity. Move on to the next one. Sending tons of love and good vibes your way. Here's to having an amazing rest of your day.